On the table I have two bicycle inner tubes here. Both are made of this black butyl material inner tubes are commonly made out of. Both of these tubes have several patches on their entire lengths, simply because they're coming out of kids' bicycles that get patched and repaired over and over again. Apparently though, there's a limit to successfully patching butyl. This limit is the fail limit of the patch, and in this video I'll share with you two things that affect the success of patching a bicycle inner tubes. Two things manufacturers don't want you to know, or just don't tell you, very simply. So again, in both of these cases it's the patch that failed and not the butyl. The butyl is innocent and is fine, and the glue bond or the contact cement bond between butyl and patch is beyond blame as well. Let me show you how the first one looked like. I can still partially inflate it. There, you can hear the air hissing out, and you can look at this patch failure here. This is how it looks like. It looks like it grew a volcano out of its middle. It has a raised middle, and you can see that it just split itself or ruptured in the middle, and underneath you can see the original hole in the butyl that caused this problem in the first place, but then the patch overlapping it was unable to control or hold the butyl successfully. Something similar happened here on the second one. I can again partially inflate it, and if you look at it, it somewhat looks similar. Again, the patch failed in the middle, split in the middle, and now it looks like a herniated disc. You can see the inner tube material bulging up and out through the ruptured patch over there, and as such it's not holding the original, or not covering the original hole in the inner tube, and is leaking air. So what led to patch failure in both of these cases is that the patches that I applied are old patches. They are 15 years or so old. So we might have a situation akin to putting new wine into an old wineskin. The difference in age also leads to a difference in elastic properties, and if the patch is less elastic than the butyl is fresh, 1 or 2 years old, very supple and soft, and is able to elongate or stretch sideways greatly, and if the patch is old and stiff and is brittle, it's going to split like that. So first thing manufacturers don't want you to know is that the patches or patch kits, they have a shelf life. They have an expiry date. They do not come as is with a label, do not use if too old, or don't use beyond such and such date, and they don't have a date of manufacture. But they apparently get hard and brittle, and they stiffen with age, and they just rupture just like that. So age is one factor, and I can't fix it because it's due to labeling. There should be a date of manufacture and some warning on patch kits. Another thing is that these patches are, and this is a patch that's sold in bicycle stores, and bicycle shops would have it for repairing specifically this butyl material. If you look at it, okay, it's upside down, it's made of rubber, and this is butyl, and this is rubber. So rubber is not butyl and butyl is not rubber. They are dissimilar materials. So when they knew maybe their elasticity or elongation, they may be close enough, but when I look at a patch, even a new one, it doesn't elongate as readily as does a butyl inner tube, either sideways or lengthwise, and if you try to bend it, it's a stiffer piece of rubber, whereas this one is super supple and soft and is a very fine material. This one is a lot stiffer. So if they don't have the same elastic properties, again, between the two of them, the stiffer one will likely to rupture and fail in use. And that's the second thing manufacturers don't tell you. that both of these patches failed at higher pressure. This failed at 60 psi, that's 4 bars, and this failed at 85 psi at 5 bars. So why do kids' bicycles get inflated to 4 or 5 bar pressures? Because they are big kids. They need 26-inch wheels and appropriate size bicycles, and they weigh more than 5-year-old kids. So patches or tubes or tires don't come with the warning that if you patch the inner tube, don't inflate it to the recommended pressure of the tire. You have to run it at a lower pressure because 60 psi is apparently too much for the patch, especially if it's a 15-year-old patch. So if you are able to live with 40 or 50 psi, which would be a recreational use or a recreational level of pressure, that's very fine. But if you need it in bicycle touring and it's critical that you get from A to B within a reasonable amount of time, and let alone competition, that's not going to work. So that's why even in bicycle touring it's recommended that you replace the entire tube with a new one, and the new one you can inflate to the recommended pressure of the tire, because patching has its limits that manufacturers don't want you to know it, or just simply don't tell you. So don't inflate a patched tire or patched inner tube to the recommended pressure of the tire, unless of course you can live with it on a recreational level of tire pressure, say 40-50 psi, something like that. So those are the two things: age and elasticity differences that kind of limit the use of patched inner tubes.